Good morning, everybody. Jim Feist and Hank Goldberg out here in Las Vegas. Beautiful sunny day. We're going to have a great week this week, Hank. How was your weekend?
Okay. I had the winner of the exact at the big grass race at Belmont. It was a very good race, and came in 1-5. We had a 4-horse box, so we hit that. And this week is the Preakness.
Yeah, it is.
They'll have 11 horses, and there were some rumors that Baffert wasn't going to run his horse. Checked it out; it wasn't true. But anyway, the draw is Wednesday at 5 o'clock East Coast time, and I don't know if the draw is going to be any big deal.
No, 11 horses. It's not that crowded. We got four. We're down to the final 4 in the NBA. Should be interesting.
2 great games yesterday.
Yes. Yes.
And both games were similar in that they were won by one guy. Leonard was amazing for Toronto. Toronto boiled down to him. And that was the difference between this Toronto team and Toronto teams of the past.
Correct.
They just put the ball in his hands, and he couldn't be stopped. And it was the same thing with Portland. Portland had McCollum, and they had no answers for him. Denver couldn't stop him, and McCollum basically won that game by himself.
He did, 37. A hell of a game. They lost a big lead, and there was a game they could have won. But the Philadelphia game was annoying in that they had 3 possessions in the last minute and a half of the game, and each of the 3, they ran out of clock. They couldn't get a shot off. And you wonder, where were the plays? Didn't they have anything drawn up for that situation? Well,
they have guys who can score on that team. They're very deep with guys who are capable of scoring. And, their big man was playing about 30 feet away from the basket. He was no help. And B.
I don't know. Why don't they put him on the blocks? I mean, you can't stop him in there, and he's out there. He's playing like a guard. And it totally takes away his effectiveness and his strength. I'm not. They have a great roster in Philadelphia, but I think they're definitely undercoached.
Well, the only thing good about them was they covered.
Very true. Well, we have Golden State's an 8-point favorite tomorrow night against Portland. And on Wednesday, Milwaukee is a 6.5-point favorite over Toronto. And that's on Wednesday.
Well, Portland's going to be pretty tired, I would think, in the first game.
I imagine it will be. It's a quick turnaround. Now, how about the way Golden State went down to Houston and handled them without Durant?
Well,
played well. I mean, Curry had no points in the first half and got 33 in the second half.
Yep, he was amazing. And it wasn't a lot of easy shots either. He was just incredible. It was a great game to watch. And once again, Houston had their opportunity and couldn't come through in the fourth quarter with their few guys. And they just gave it up, and their owner's very upset to see this. And we'll see what happens there going forward.
Well, yeah, they play that hero ball all season long with Harden scoring 40, 50 games. I don't know. It's not the style of ball You got to move the ball. You got to get guys open. And it's just not the. It's not win. I've never liked it. It doesn't seem like it's a winning style. But there might be some coaching change. I was big surprised this morning. Beeline's leaving Michigan to go to coach the Cavs.
Cleveland.
Yeah. It's I was kind of shocked with that.
Well, he's got a 5-year contract. He's 66 years old. He was a great college coach. I thought he was one of the better college coaches around.
Agree.
And they'll miss him in Michigan. And I don't know what he'll do with Cleveland, but I'll tell you that the deal that kind of surprised me was what the Lakers did, hiring 2 coaches. And Kidd, I think, they've got 3-year deals. And Tyronn Lue wouldn't take 3 years. He wanted a longer contract than that. And so they hired a good coach. I mean, he had good success the places he's been. But Kidd is the key guy there. He's going to be a very good tactician. He can coach defense, and he's in the wings if things don't work out. And people wouldn't be surprised if he's promoted very quickly.
Yeah, it's almost almost like you hire a coach, but you hire his backup at the same time to replace him. Very strange.
A lot of coaches would not have accepted that situation. Most coaches, when they're hired, they want to make the decision on their own assistant. And this was not the case. He didn't hire Kidd. He was handed Kidd. And that was the deal he had to accept. Strange situation with that franchise.
Very. So what does LeBron do now? How happy or unhappy is he with the situation, I wonder?
I don't really care about LeBron, to tell you the truth. I hope he gets healthy and can give them their money's worth.
Well, he got injured for the first time in his career.
Well, he's older now.
Yeah, he's been in the league, 15, 16 years. That's a long run. He's definitely at the
The one thing they were saying about Kidd is that he's going to be good for Lowe and can coach him up. They need him to be more of a shooter, and they think that Kidd will help him a lot. And he'll be good with the younger players.
Well, it's been a great franchise for a long time. It's been out of the woods a couple of years now, and they need to bring it back. So it's good for the league if they get back in the mix. But we got 4 good teams remaining, and I'm excited to watch these finals that start tomorrow night. In baseball, the Yankees did a job. They went and beat Snell yesterday. They're moving back up Boston. The Yankees are putting a lot of pressure on there. Tampa's been floundering. You got
Well, the Yankees have been beating Tampa. They've been knocking them off with regularity, and they're now only a half a game out, and they've got still have 11 guys on the disabled list.
It's kind of all those guys. Imagine if all those guys come back and they start to lose. Because now the pressure is on those guys to outperform the guys that replaced them when they come back. It's an interesting situation.
Well, their pitching's holding up, and that's been kind of a key. And the young players have been getting key hits.
Sure have.
So.
You got Fires going tonight. He pitched the no-hitter his last out. He's at Seattle. It's be interesting to see how he comes out after that no-hitter and all the hoopla that goes around that. quite an accomplishment.
Well, the accomplishment is that they let him go for the 9 innings. These days, that doesn't happen too often. You don't see 9-inning no-hitters very, very frequently, but they left him in.
Well, it's 138 pitches in that game, which is far above what these pitchers are allowed to go anymore. You're right. Be interesting to see how he comes back. A lot of people think he's going to come out a little flat. But the game opened Seattle minus 130. And there's been a lot of money on Fires. It's down to 114. So I personally would rather go against them than on them, because I think, it's a big happening when you do that. Get that no-hitter, the media, all the interviews, everything else that goes along with it. And like you brought up, 138 pitches, a lot of pitches for most major league pitchers these days. They don't go that far. But it'll be interesting to see that.
Well, the Cubs have gotten hot. That's nothing of a point of interest in baseball.
Sure is.
And I'll tell you, the Mets just keep beating up on the Marlins. More and more, and I think you brought this up the other day. It used to be very difficult to give runs in baseball. Today, I think there's an imbalance, and there are a lot of bad teams, and so giving runs is not a big deal anymore.
Well, especially, the Marlins are a terrible team. They have one pitcher that's pretty respectable, Smith. He can give you a performance every now and then, but they're not going to win a lot of games. That team is pretty decimated. You got Houston has been hot, but they've been doing most of their damage at home this year. On the road, they have a negative record. They go with Peacock against Boyd today, and they're a 150, 155 favorite on the road. And Boyd has been very strong this year, especially at home, and he's got a good record against Houston. I think that number, a lot of people are looking at Houston as being back fully. Altuve is hurt, but their other bats are working, but they have been much better at home than on the road this year, so that might be a little bit overpriced.
Well, the Mets pitchers are back. DeGrom has had a couple of good games in a row, and coming off the injury, and Syndergaard has been pitching well for them, and they've got a fairly deep staff, so they got to be. And the New York fans have to be fairly happy with the way things are going right now.
Well, I'd say so. Yeah. Another team, Minnesota, the Twins, 25-14 record. They're one of the best teams in baseball right now, and they're at home against the Angels. Now Skaggs is a pretty good pitcher. I'm not knocking him at all, but Berrios has been very strong this year, laying about 135 at home. I think Minnesota's the right side in that game.
Well, they've been tough at home.
Yeah, they have. Anything, we got the PGA going this week. Tiger Woods is the favorite to win it, which I question, but he's a public favorite, so he's 9-1. Guys like...
I'll tell you, Koepka is coming into that course is made for a guy with his ability to and his special skills, and he's very consistent. He had a great tournament last week in the Byron Nelson. It's just that the guy who won got real hot. He just ran away with it. But he didn't run away with it. He was ahead by 2-3 strokes. Kepka made a little bit of a run, but and he finished 20 under. So I'd watch out for him this week. He's playing very well right now.
I'd play Kepka in matchups against anybody, and if Woods is, Woods being the favorite is the wrong price, but it's a public price. So you can get some matchups against Woods, and I'm not saying Woods is bad. I'm not saying that, but I don't think he should be the favorite. So I think you get a matchup, Kepka and other players you like against Woods. I think you might have a little bit of an advantage. And that's not knocking Tiger. It's just reality. He's playing well, but he's not the favorite.
Well, he hasn't played. He hasn't played. Since he had the big win. Since he won the Masters, he's been resting.
And that's a good thing. But
maybe.
I'm sure he's been out hitting a lot of golf balls. He loves to play. He spends a lot of time on the range. But anyway, it's going to be interesting. It's a good week. Got Preakness, you got PGA, you got baseball, you got the NBA playoffs coming down to the end. It's a good week for watching sports and betting sports. And we'll talk again on Wednesday, Hank. Anything else you want to cover today?
On the Preakness, it's supposed to rain Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday in Baltimore, which might upset some of the workout schedules there. But later in the week, it's supposed to clear up, so they may have a dry track for a change, and so it won't affect the outcome. I don't think the weather won't be a factor in the race.
Well, that's good. It certainly was a mess at the Derby, so let's hope we get some good conditions. That'd be good. And we don't have the number 1 or the number 2 horses that were in the Derby running this week, so that's interesting.
Well, there's only 4 horses going forward from the Derby. On my CBS show yesterday, I said that I wasn't going to use any of them on top because I think that the Derby was a very tiring race on a track that was extremely tiring, and that I don't see any of them going forward after a very grueling race that was kind of physical, like a football game, the way those horses were banging each other around. So I think there are some new horses that didn't qualify for the Derby, who are some pretty strong horses, and that's where I'm looking. So, and maybe some horses who will benefit from going a little bit of an extra distance. People make the mistake of thinking that because it's slightly shorter than the Kentucky Derby, that it's a race that's strictly built for horses that like to run shorter distances. And so I made the odds that Randy Moss on the NBC telecast will break out a chart that shows the misconception that the Preakness is not a speed-favoring, shorter distance, sharper turn race than the Derby is. He does that every year. And he's right.
Interesting. All right, Hank. Thank you for your time today, your insight. All of our plays are available at JIM051319, and we'll talk again on Wednesday.
Okay, have a good day.
You too, Hank. Bye-bye.